Yes, ma'am.
Everybody, please national corporations or transnational corporations are they are also companies, they are corporations or companies that are operating in more than one country. They have a parent company, they have in their the parent company is settled in the home country, and then they are spread across the countries in various countries of the world. They are operating. I told you an example of Walmart. It is operating in so many countries of the world, right? So these type of companies which are operating in more than one countries, they are registered in their home countries, but they are operating in so many other countries, are called as multinational corporations or transnational corporations. Look at point number 1: the investment level, employment level, and income level of the host country increase consequent upon the operation of MNC in the host country, that country जहां पर वो आकर ऑपरेट कर रही है. For example, a Sweden based company, a Swedish company, if it is operating in India, India is a host country. ठीक है. तो if it is operating in, let's say, Bangladesh, Bangladesh is a host country. A US based company operating in India, India is a host country. A US based company operating in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia is a host country. So wherever they are setting and operating, wherever the MNC is setting and operating their business, in that particular country, जो host country है, वहाँ पे what happens? The investment increases because they bring in capital. The employment increases. They hire people, and the income level of the people increase because when people are employed, their standard of living increases, their income increases. राइट. सो जहां भी एक कंपनी सेट करती हैं, मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज जहां पर ऑपरेट करती हैं, वहां पर तीन तरह के फायदे हैं. वन, द इन्वेस्टमेंट लेवल, जो कैपिटल बेस है कंपनीज का वो इंक्रीज होता है, जिसे हम कहते हैं कि फंड्स, कंपनीज गेट फंड्स. ऑफ कोर्स दे आल्सो ब्रिंग इन फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स विद देम. Employment level, employment level, they are hiring people from the host country. And the income level, since people are employed, their income also increases manyfold. So this is one of the benefits of having multinational corporations. The next is level of industrial and economic development increases due to the growth in ancillary and service industry of that host industry. Now look at this, the industrial and economic development increases. How? Number one, it starts operating. एक कंपनी है, मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी जो यूएस में बेस्ड है, वो इंडिया में आकर ऑपरेट करती है. वन इज कि बिकॉज ऑफ इट द इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इंक्रीजेस. The second is that particular company is procuring raw material, various spares, etc., from the domestic market. And therefore, because of that, the other industries are also prospering. Let me see if somebody has joined. Now look at this. I'll give you an example of, let's take an example of indigenous example of Maruti Suzuki. Right? Take any example. Now wherever this Maruti Suzuki plant is there, our nearest plant, if we talk about Delhi, the nearest plant is in Gurgaon. And even in Delhi Gurgaon border, plant, you must have heard about the Kapas Heda border, which is very close. This border is between Delhi and Haryana. This is a Kapas Heda border, touches Delhi and Gurgaon. Okay. Now, in this particular area, Maruti Suzuki's plant is located. Now, this Maruti Suzuki's has developed. It's a big plant in that area. I have fortunate to visited that plant also. And now, when we see that particular plant, if you see around that plant, number of small industries have thronged up. बहुत सारी छोटी छोटी इंडस्ट्रीज बन गई हैं, छोटी छोटी कंपनी आ गई हैं. Small industries, small companies have grown. अब ये कंपनी क्यों ग्रो हुई? इसलिए ग्रो हुई क्योंकि मारुति सुजुकी अपना सारा रॉ मटेरियल, मोस्ट ऑफ द रॉ मटेरियल, spare parts, local areas. They are taking from the nearby areas. Maruti Suzuki is located there. Number of small companies have thronged up in that area. They are supplying raw material. They are supplying various spare parts, metal parts, rubber parts, welded parts. They are providing to this particular company, Maruti Suzuki. Now, because of one big company, Maruti Suzuki, what has happened? The entire area has been developed. Many new companies have come up. This is actual economic development. This is the real industrial development, right? That one company is there, and because of that company, because of that needs of that particular company, many other companies have come up, and these are supporting the big companies. These small companies are called as ancillary companies. You have, if you see Hero Honda is located at the Hero Honda Chowk in Gurgaon. If you see the nearby areas, all the areas near there's this Hero Honda plant, a number of companies have come up. Some supplying rubber parts, some supplying stamp parts, some supplying mirror parts to Hero Honda. So because of one company, so many companies are looking to establish their plants near Hero Honda. And for Hero Honda also, it is so easy to procure the raw material within the proximity. Pass में raw material रहना is quite better. Why? Because then you have to incur huge transportation cost. इफ सपोज हीरो होंडा के पास एक ऑप्शन है कि उसको अपने पास में से ही रॉ मटेरियल लेना है या महाराष्ट्र से लेना है, तो ऑफ कोर्स इट वुड लाइक टू प्रेफर एन एरिया नियर बाई because the transportation cost is reduced, and if the transportation cost is reduced, the overall cost of the product is also reduced. So this is the benefit, that one industry, one itself, and the entire area is industrially developed, because just to support those, just to service that particular company, and these are called as ancillary industries. Okay, so is the concept clear of ancillary industry and how they are supporting the big company? MNC is there, it is establishing its office, let's say in India, and how that particular area gets developed. Next is point number three, the host country's industry gets latest technology from other countries through the MNCs. So we get better technology also. If you see what Honda brought in technology, when Maruti Suzuki was set up, Maruti had offered yes, we would like to take the best of technology. Suzuki offered its technology, and Maruti offered its biggest markets. India is one of the largest markets in the world. Such a big population, huge demand of products, right? So Suzuki came and went for a joint venture because of India's huge markets, and Suzuki gave its technology. We benefited out of this technology, right? So whenever MNCs operate in other countries, they service other countries, they bring in the latest of technologies. Number four, the host country's business can also get latest and sophisticated management practices, techniques from the managerial practices of MNCs. So we also get to know how other countries have businesses, how they operate, how they flourish so nicely, how disciplined they are, and the same things we inculcate in our country also. This is one of the benefits of MNC culture. If you see Japanese companies in India, 5 बजे अगर ऑफिस बंद होना है तो 8 बजे तक बैठा रखा है. Not like this. They are very disciplined. If 5 o'clock is the office timing, 5 o'clock everybody has to go, including the CEO. He also moves along with the employees, right? So if Japanese companies, they are in India, and through those companies we also learn how to follow the best of practices, how to become more disciplined, how to carry each and everything on time. So this is the benefit of MNC culture. Next is number 5, domestic suppliers of various inputs, and domestic market intermediaries of the host country gets the stimulation and increased business from the operation of MNCs. More or less, this point is very similar to the second point, that the suppliers benefit because of the MNC, which is operating in the host country. Next, MNCs break protectionism, create competition among domestic companies, and this enhance their competitiveness. When they come and they also produce and sell things in our country, let's say an American company comes and starts selling its product in India. So what happens? There is a competition in our country. The competition is with that particular MNC and the domestic companies. And because of that competition, the customers get better quality of goods at reduced prices. This is the benefit of competition. कहीं भी competition होता है तो benefit कौन करता है? Customer benefit करता है. Before 1991, आप देखिए, one scooter, if somebody was supposed to buy one LML scooter, he has to wait at least for 9 to 10 months. इतनी प्रोडक्शन नहीं थी, कंपटीशन नहीं था, so they used to do it slowly, very inefficient people, 9 to 10 months or 12 months, right? But when you see more number of companies coming into India and look at the how they are giving their giving the various products on time, how quickly they are giving, how quickly they are delivering the services, there is intense competition in the market, and everybody would like to become efficient. And who ultimately benefits? The customer eventually benefits from this competition. He gets the best of the things at the most reduced prices. Okay, so this is the benefits of MNCs, but you can add more. These all points are very relevant and they capture almost everything. You can add more points, but remember to be relevant. Okay. Now I'm moving to the next. सम मोर पॉइंट, नई चीज आपने इन्वेंट की, तो यूजली क्या होता है, डोमेस्टिक कंपनीज के पास इतना पैसा नहीं होता और ना ही इतना बेंट होता है कि रिसर्च करें कोई चीज नई डेवलप करें, कोई नया प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करें. नो, इट इज द फॉरेन कंपनीज दैट डू रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट. एमएनसीज हैव ह्यूज फंड्स, उनके पास बहुत पैसा होता है क्योंकि वो बहुत सारी कंपनीज में बहुत सारी कंट्रीज में ऑपरेट करती हैं, तो उनके पास पैसा बहुत होता है. सो दे कॉन्टिन्यूसली गो फॉर रिसर्च एंड वो सर्व कर रही है, जहां वो ऑपरेट कर रही है, दे गेट बेनिफिटेड आउट ऑफ इट. ओके, इज दिस क्लियर? हु बेनिफिट्स? And take the advantage of the foreign culture brought by the MNCs. So when we have lot of multinational culture, what happens? We don't believe now in indigenous culture कि हम क्या पहनते थे, हम क्या खाते थे, हम कैसे रहते थे. No, what we start doing, we start learning what others are doing. The same thing is happening in India. We are learning from others cultures कि हम सुबह हो सकता है पराठा पहले खाते थे, लेकिन अब क्या खाने लगे? अब कॉर्नफ्लेक्स खाने लगे. Right, so we are imbibing others culture, we are learning from foreign cultures of others. So it may, इसमें भी ऐसा है कि कई लोगों की अलग राय होगी. कुछ लोग कहेंगे कि नहीं, ये सही नहीं है कि हम फॉरेन कल्चर से लर्न कर रहे हैं, और कुछ लोग कहेंगे नहीं, इट्स गुड टू बी प्रोग्रेसिव. इफ यू आर लर्निंग फ्रॉम अदर्स कल्चर, इट्स गुड टू बी प्रोग्रेसिव, right? So we are through the MNC, it is through the MNC culture only that we have changed our habits, changed our sleeping habits, changed our eating habits, changed our way of dressing. So everything has changed because of the foreign culture, right? The host country can reduce the imports and increase the exports due to the goods produced by MNC in the host country. MNCs are operating, let's say, in India, an US company operating in India. So when they are operating in India, we can use those products to export. That's the reason our exports will also increase. So instead of relying on imports, when the MNC starts working in the host country, we can increase our export base. हमें इंपोर्ट करने की अब जरूरत नहीं है होस्ट कंट्री को. क्यों? क्योंकि जो एमएनसी है उसने अपना प्लांट इंडिया में सेटअप कर लिया है. So instead of importing, what are we doing? We are exporting the products manufactured by the MNC. Okay, so these are some advantages again. So we looked at many advantages from many angles. Okay, please take cognizance of these advantages, everything. This is part of your syllabus. Okay, now look at the disadvantages quickly, because I have to do with another topic. Quickly go through the disadvantages. Class technology is brought by MNCs in the country, right? But usually what do we see in developing countries? टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड मच, बिकॉज हमारी जो कंपनीज हैं वो कैपिटल इंटेंसिव ज़्यादा हैं, ठीक है। हमारी हमारी जो कंट्रीज हैं वो लेबर इंटेंसिव ज़्यादा है, हर काम मैनुअली होता है, लेबर रखे जाते हैं। और अगर आप किसी भी कंपनी में टेक्नोलॉजी लाएंगे तो वहाँ पैसे की ज़रूरत होगी, कैपिटल की ज़रूरत होगी, जो हमारी कंपनीज के पास, ज़्यादातर इन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के पास नहीं होता है या कम होता है, राइट। तो अगर आप किसी कंट्री से टेक्नोलॉजी ले भी रहे हैं तो उसके लिए भी आपके पास कैपिटल होना चाहिए, जो कि डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के पास कम होता है। सो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट सेज द सेम थिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप्ड बाय एमएनसीज the needs of the developing countries, as it is mostly capital intensive. Just to get the technology, you must have funds with you, and developing countries have less of funds. Next, MNCs do not operate within the national autonomy and sovereignty. As such, MNC's operation affects the functioning of the host country government. So, when you have MNC culture in the country, the government is also affected. They start interfering in the political dimensions also. So that is why the host country's government is also affected, because the government is likely to take decisions in their favor. वो इसीलिए आए हैं क्योंकि वो अपनी बात को आपको, गवर्नमेंट से अपनी बात को उसको मनवाएंगे, राइट। सो देयरफॉर द गवर्नमेंट्स डिसीजन, द गवर्नमेंट्स sovereignty to take decisions is also affected. They will put pressure on the government to take decisions in their own favor. Next, MNCs may kill the domestic industry by monopolizing the, इसमें इतना बताइए मुझे बस, MNCs may kill the domestic industry. Small companies, our small mini companies, micro companies, medium sized companies, they will not be able to match with what the products, MNC products are making. The MNCs are having good technology, world class technology, and they are able to associated with making a product falls down. But on the other hand, when you talk about our country's micro, small, medium enterprises or cottage industries, they are relying on mostly labor. They are labor intensive. They are making everything manually. So that makes them labor intensive companies, and the cost per unit increases. They don't have funds to get the right technology, so the cost per unit increases. They are not able to match the price at which a MNC is selling its product and at which a cottage industry is selling its products, right? So must many other times the MNC culture kills the domestic industry. अब आप एक डिटर्जेंट इंडस्ट्री का केस देखिए, डिटर्जेंट इंडस्ट्रीज में अभी टॉप प्लेयर्स में आते हैं एरियल, सर्फ एक्सेल, राइट। And who's making these products? These products are made by Unilever company. Unilever company is a giant. Procter and Gamble is a giant in consumer goods, right? So they are selling at a very very reduced price, which small companies are unable to match. You take any detergent powder of India, it is not able to match the sales of Surf Excel and Ariel. Many have failed. Many have failed. Nirma has lost its share. Nirma has lost its shares. Ghadi has lost its shares. And they are all operating in the lower segment. अगर आप मीडियम मिडिल क्लास और अपर मिडिल क्लास को टारगेट करते हैं तो वो दे आर ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबडी इज बाइंग सर्फ एक्सेल एंड दिस एरियल, right? So this is, there is very much a lot of competition is there, and this is the reason when you bring in MNC culture, the companies, your own companies, the domestic companies die. They are not able to save themselves from the onslaught of competition. इतनी बड़ी जायंट होती है एमएनसीज कि वो इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी होती है कि वो कॉस्ट पर यूनिट बहुत कम कर देती है, बहुत कम दाम में बना देती है एक प्रोडक्ट को, और थोड़ा सा मार्जिन लेके सेल कर देती है। लेकिन this is unable for them, small companies, domestic companies are unable to get this kind of technology, right? And they are relying on labor, and when you have more of labor and less of automation in the companies, you are not able to match the cost at which the MNCs are making their products, right? Next is MNCs may adopt ethnocentric approach in staffing. Now what is ethnocentric? We'll encounter this word again today. Ethnocentric is I am the best. This culture is ethnocentrism. I am the best, और सब तो जो हूँ, but I am the best. I have the best culture. My home is the best. My family is the best. This is ethnocentrism. My country is the best. Centric approach. So when MNCs bring in, they also have this kind of attitude. Suppose they are coming from America, they will have that kind of attitude only. So I am going to India, but my people are the best. I'll be taking my own people to hire there, to keep there, to look after the things, right? So this ethnocentric approach of MNCs are also seen, and this is one of the disadvantages of MNC culture, कि वो यहाँ पे सेट करते हैं, लेकिन जो की पोजीशंस होती है मैनेजर्स की, टॉप मैनेजर्स, सीनियर मैनेजर्स, एट टाइम्स वो क्या करते हैं कि वो अपनी कंट्री से ही लेके आते हैं, राइट? So next is of the host country indiscriminately. We have MNC cultures. वहाँ पे क्या होता है, वहाँ की रिसोर्सेज को वो बहुत मैक्सिमम एक्सेसिव यूज करते हैं उसी कंट्री की रिसोर्सेज, एंड एट टाइम्स आई मीन when they use indiscriminately, बहुत badly resources करते हैं, तो what happen, resources are scarce in nature, they get depleted over time. Okay. Next is payment of dividend and royalty. Whatever they earn, let's say in India, whatever they are earned, they are repatriating, they are sending back to USA, राइट? जो भी जैसे एक यूएस की कंपनी है, उसने इंडिया में अपना प्लांट सेट किया, तो जो इंडिया से उसको मुनाफा हुआ, जो प्रॉफिट हुआ, वो अपनी पेरेंट कंपनी के पास भी भेजते हैं वो, ठीक है, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डिविडेंड, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ रॉयल्टी ऑन सेल्स. तो क्या होता है, व्हेन दे आर सेंडिंग इट टू द पेरेंट कंपनी, द फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिसोर्सेज गेट्स यूज्ड. वो रुपए में नहीं भेजेंगे कि हमने इतना रुपए कमाया है, ले लिए रुपए में, नो, they will get it converted into dollars, and then they will send it to USA in their parent company. So this is one reason कि foreign exchange reserves also gets depleted, कम हो जाता है, ठीक है. Next is distortion of economic structure. MNCs invest in those sectors which earn high rate of profit, exploit the material, etc. So they are not everywhere कि हम MNC हर जगह पर ऑपरेट करती है, वो वहीं पर ऑपरेट करेगी जहां प्रॉफिट मार्जिन मैक्सिमम होता है. वो हर जगह ऑपरेट नहीं करेगी कि चलो मैं इस कंट्री को डेवलप करते हैं और हर जगह ऑपरेट करेंगे, नो, दे आर गोइंग टू चूज द बेस्ट ऑफ द सेक्टर्स, द बेस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रीज, where the margins are the highest. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages of MNC culture. Take one more minute to read all the points. Maybe in between, when you read, you have some doubts, you can ask here. Quickly go through. Now, have you read all the points again? Did you feel anything? A company in USA has set up its plant in India, right? So India में जो उसको profits हो रहा है, तो वो अपने पास तो रखेगी नहीं, उसे कहाँ भेजना होगा वापस? पेरेंट कंपनी को, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Going to send all its proceeds back to its parent company. जब वो अपने प्रॉफिट्स या जो रॉयल्टी सेल्स पर जो रॉयल्टी मिलती है या जो प्रॉफिट्स का पार्ट है डिविडेंड, जब वो पेरेंट कंपनी को वापस भेजता है यूएस में, तो उसको डॉलर में भेजना होगा. When that particular company, the Indian company, the host country में जो सेटअप है, वो कंपनी अपनी पेरेंट कंपनी को डिविडेंड जो प्रॉफिट्स का पार्ट है या रॉयल्टी जो मिल रही है सेल्स पर, वो अपनी पेरेंट कंपनी को भेजेंगे तो वो डॉलर में भेजेंगे. एंड व्हेन दे आर सेंडिंग इन डॉलर, इट मींस दे आर ड्रेनिंग अवे आवर फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स, क्योंकि वो उसको कन्वर्ट कराएंगे, रुपए से डॉलर में कन्वर्ट कराएंगे. और जो डॉलर बाहर अपनी पेरेंट कंपनी को भेजेंगे, उससे क्या होगा? फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स गेट्स रिड्यूस्ड. Right? So this is one of the disadvantages of MNC culture. Are you able to understand? उसको शेयर होल्डर्स को दिया जाता है, दैट इज डिविडेंड. रॉयल्टी ऑन सेल्स क्या मतलब होता है? सेल्स पर जो भी आपका सामान बिक रहा है, उसका कुछ परसेंट रॉयल्टी होती है, और वो भी पेरेंट कंपनी को वापस भेजा जाता है. ठीक है, क्योंकि आपके शेयर होल्डर्स कहाँ पर हैं? पेरेंट कंपनी में. उस कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर्स कहाँ हैं? पेरेंट कंपनी में. तो उनको डॉलर के फॉर्म में ही भेजा जाएगा. सो दैट मीन्स दे आर कन्वर्टिंग देयर रुपीज इनटू डॉलर्स एंड thus reducing our foreign exchange reserves of the country. Any other doubt with respect to this MNCs? And the cultural environment together is called as socio-cultural environment. Please read this slide and give me a minute, please. Socio-cultural environment. Before we discuss the social cultural environment, I'll go back to one last slide, please. This is pestle analysis. Pestle. P stands for political, E economic. It is written here economical. It is not economical, it is economic. S social, T technological, L legal, E environmental. These are the factors which affect businesses. I started with this note only. When we met on the day one, we started with there are many factors which affect businesses. And I said there are internal factors and external factors which affect businesses. Internal factors are factors within the company that affect the business. For example, employees. For example, let's say management of the company, owners of the company, investors of the company. They are something internal to the company. So they are internal factors affecting a particular company. When I say external factors affecting business, they are pestle. Political factors affecting business, economic factors, and likewise. Right? So, economic factors I have discussed. Please give me a second. The factors affecting the business we have discussed, like among the most important economic factors are GDP of the country. Can you tell me some more economic factors affecting businesses? इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज, कंट्री की इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज कैसी है, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कैसी है, फिजिकल पॉलिसी कैसी है, ट्रेड पॉलिसी कैसी है, दैट इज part of the economic factors which are affecting business. Then you have inflation. How much is the price rise in the country? Yeah, please speak.
Ma'am, ability of manpower.
Power, right? They all are part of the environment, economic factors which are affecting the business. The level of employment in the country, unemployment in the country, right? People's standard of living in the country, the interest rates prevailing in the country. All these are factors, economic factors that affect businesses. We have discussed this, but in our today's class we are going to discuss business. And then we have the political factors affecting business, we have the technological factors affecting business, right? So we are going to start with socio cultural factors. Now coming back to the same slide, please look at this. The socio-cultural environment may be defined as all the social surroundings that affect the growth and operation of a business directly or indirectly. It is made up of social institutions, class structures, beliefs, values, accepted patterns of behavior, customs of the people, and their expectations. So, सब कुछ, the social, how people behave, right? How people behave, how people are, how people accept the various goods and services. क्या सिस्टम है वहां पर, वहां पर रहना सहना खाना पीना, वहां पर क्या क्या हमारी how do they behave, how do they accept things, what are their customs, what is their culture, what is their tradition. They all are affecting businesses. Look at the same example which I just took today, ki cornflakes in the morning. Is this part of our culture? Is this part of the Indian culture traditionally? Yes or no? This is the reason why, when 1994 Kellogg's launched its brand of cornflakes, it failed badly in the Indian market. Kellogg's failed, Kellogg suffered huge losses because it was very much disturbing that people were not even ready to have to replace their breakfast, to replace their parathas with a set of bowl of cornflakes, right? So it is the culture. Why Kellogg's failed? Because it was not able to learn the culture of others. Whenever you launch a product, whenever you launch a service, you have to understand the social, the socio and the cultural pattern of the country, of the people, right? What are their expectations? What are their customs? What are their traditions? Everything. Okay, now look at two kinds of society we are seeing here: monistic society and pluralistic society. Monistic यहाँ पर है, next slide में pluralistic है. Please understand carefully. Monistic society क्या होती है और pluralistic society क्या होती है? As I read, the established pattern of social system, human activities were undertaken in the context of a single social institution, the village community. People living in such village community were basically governed by customs and traditions, and the village heads and elders guided the जैसा भी जो भी कर रहे हैं वो howsoever their behavior is, howsoever whatever they are behaving, that is governed by what the elderly people have guided them, what the village head has instructed them. जो village head कहेगा वैसे ही लोग behave करेंगे. That is a monastic society. Caste was the main determining factor of occupation. People were divided on the basis of caste. If this is the caste, then this occupation will be carried out. If this is the caste, this occupation would be carried out, and likewise. This is the example of a monastic society. Jobs were decided on the basis of caste. What job a person would take would be dependent upon the caste or the type of family in which he or she was born. Differences in social class creates customer groups. In this case, what happens, business कैसे करेगी enter, मोनिस्टिक सोसाइटीज में बिजनेस एंटर ऐसे करती है कि जो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स हैं, कास्ट बेस्ड ग्रुप्स हैं, उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स देखती है कि इस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप को ये रिक्वायरमेंट है तो हम ये सामान देंगे, ये सामान बेचेंगे. इस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप को ये रिक्वायरमेंट है सो वी आर गोइंग टू सेल दीज थिंग्स एंड लाइकवाइज. This is the example of a monistic society, right? So monastic society is more or less a traditional society, a very much you can say a society which is based on lot number of rules, regulations, right? Nobody can take others job. A job would be decided based on the caste and creed of a person. This is the example of a monastic society. Now let's look at the pluralistic society. Please read, everybody. So similar to what we are having today. Now everything is changed. It slowly as gradually given, right? Right. It comprises of a number of groups. अब बहुत सारे लोग हैं. Number of groups are there, and we don't categorize on the basis of caste. We categorize, businesses categorize that these are males, these are females, these are children between 0 to 5 years of age group, these are children between 5 to 18 years of age group, these are adults from 18 to 30, and likewise. They are males, these are female, these are children, like this. They are this type of a group, a family which is having an income of 0 to 20,000 per month, a family with an income of 20 to 50,000 per month, and likewise. This is the kind of groups a pluralistic society has. There are a number of groups, and it is very much difficult to divide the society on the basis of caste, right? So now businesses reach to the people not on the basis of jobs or caste they are having, but on the basis of a number of things, on the basis of gender, on the basis of their income group, right? On the basis of their occupation, on the basis of their assets they are having. कितनी एसेट्स हैं, किसके पास कार है, किसके पास स्कूटर है, किसके पास बाइक है. They are reaching out on the basis of these things. So how our monastic society has gradually opened to a pluralistic society. Okay. Now, coming to the cultural environment, quickly look at the factors. There are many things written here, but I'll just explain you the most important things. And but you have to read everything. Please read. Products overseas may be very sensitive to foreign cultures. Foreign nations may seem small. Marketers who ignore these differences risk failure in implementing marketing programs. Failure to consider cultural differences is one of the primary reasons for marketing failure overseas. I told you Kellogg's failed in India because it was not able to understand the eating habits of Indians. Later on, after 10 years, it is now a successful brand because, as I told you, that when we have MNC cultures in the country, we learn to adapt from the foreign cultures. We forget our own. हमारा culture क्या था? We forget, and we try to imbibe the foreign culture. We try to inculcate their way of working, their way of wearing, their way of eating food. Okay, so after 10 years, 2004 में, when they came back again, it was profit making entity. Today also, Kellogg's is having huge profits because they have changed the mindset of the people. They were good at changing the mindset. Days when women used to stay at home only. So many are working today. I'm not saying everybody, but many are working. They don't get time in the morning and they prefer Kellogg's cornflakes. Right? So this particular slide talks about that if any particular country fails to understand the culture of other country, other people, they fail. Number one, what are the differing factors? Number one, language. Is it important to understand the language of the other country before you start doing business? Yes or no? So that you can reach out to the people. अगर आपको उनकी लैंग्वेज नहीं आती है या आपने ऐसे लोगों को नहीं रखा है जो वो एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं आपके प्रोडक्ट के बारे में, इट इज एब्सोल्युटली एज इफ 1000 लैंग्वेजेस इन द वर्ल्ड. 3000 तरीके की लैंग्वेज है, मोर देन 3000. ठीक है. सो लैंग्वेज प्रॉब्लम्स कैन बी a real problem. If you are unable to understand, if you are unable to reach out to the people in their language, it would be difficult to sell your products. So first cultural, in the cultural factor is understanding the language of other country where you are going to operate. The second, colors. Please read. The country's national color of green is considered unacceptable for packaging. So if you are sending some goods in Egypt and you are packaging, your packaging color is green, it is considered as unacceptable. They will not accept it because religious leaders once wore it. So really, since religious leaders wears at times, and many have been wearing, so it is unacceptable to put it on packages. In Japan, black and white are colors of mourning. What is mourning? जल्दी बताइए, what is mourning? Color of sadness. Mourning is sadness. And
Sadness,
should
yes, ma'am.
not be, yes, and should not be used on a product's package. तो जापान में कोई भी पैकेज ब्लैक कलर का नहीं होना चाहिए. ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट. for men to greet each other with a kiss. But this custom is not acceptable in US. Look at the kind of cultures. So when you happen to export your products or set up your plant in US or Russia, one must know these cultures. Okay, in Russia, when you greet, you can kiss, but in US, it is not acceptable. You can only shake hands. Okay, in France, wine is served with most meals. In world over, the best wines comes from France, right? So it is served with almost all the meals. But in America, milk, tea, water, and soft drinks are popular, right? This is how understanding others cultures. Now please tell me these things, does it help? The blame was Zika. So immediately Tata had to withdraw that Zika cars. Why? Please tell me why Zika cars were withdrawn by Tata. जैसे टाटा जीका है, आप नहीं खरीदेंगे, आप क्या सोचेंगे, ये क्या, ये तो वायरस है, इसको तो जब भी मैं यूज करूंगा कहीं जाऊंगा तो ऐसा लगेगा कि वायरस है ये। तो एक आपका जो साइकोलॉजिकल बेंट है वो आपको परमिट नहीं करेगा कि वो आप खरीदें, राइट? तो टाटा ने क्या किया कि उसको पूरी की पूरी जो जीका कार्स थी उसको विड्रॉ कर दिया, उसका नाम ही चेंज कर दिया उस कार्स का। ठीक है, सो दिस इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग कल्चर। पीपल विल नॉट बाय, साइकोलॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट है, क्या जीका वायरस है, और ये कार्स भी टाटा जीका। ठीक है, एंड buying cars in India and even world over, it is something very emotional and something straight to our heart. At least for Indians, it is like very, it's like a close family member only. So you cannot buy a car after so many years you were thinking of buying a car, and that too its name is Tata Zika. You will not buy it. So what they did is it changed the entire line of cars. Now look at this, please slide everybody to read. Values arise from his or her moral or religious beliefs and are learned through experiences. Right? Look at the case of McDonald's and Burger King. Throughout the world, they are selling beef burgers. But what happens when it comes to India? They are selling only chicken burgers. Because in the Indian culture, beef is not acceptable. So what are they doing? They have read the Indian culture. They took throughout the world. Even McDonald's has the most sales from across the world. They are selling beef burgers only. But in when it comes to India, they are procuring chicken. They are procuring chicken and serving chicken burgers. They are serving aloo tikki burgers, but not in other countries of the world. Same has happened with Burger King also. The term aesthetics is used to refer to the concepts of beauty and good taste. Americans spend large amounts of money on soap, deodorant, and mouthwash because of the value placed on personal cleanliness. Right? Look at this, the kind of cultures. So, what for Americans, they are spending large chunk of their income for what? For on soap, on deodorant, on mouthwash, and a number of cosmetic items. For example, Americans believe that suntans are attractive, youthful, and healthy. However, the Japanese do not. Right? The suntan, you know, what is that blackish skin which you get from when you are exposed to sun. So for Americans, it is considered as a good sign, but Japanese do not consider suntan as good. Time. Americans seem to be fanatical about time when compared to other cultures. Punctuality and deadlines are routine business practices in the US. Very punctual, everything on time. India में क्या है? If you start something on time, it is considered not good. It is not taken in the right manner. Suppose somebody invited you for a marriage party, for a wedding party, let's say at 7:30 p.m. and you approached at 7:30. It is not considered good in India. ये खाली ते लगता है ये आग। What is considered good? कि आप लेट पहुंचे, तब आपका ज्यादा अच्छा वेलकम होगा, तब आपको ज्यादा भीड़ मिलेगी। तो इंडिया में क्या है कि यू डोंट आई मीन की डू थिंग्स ऑन टाइम, you miss the deadlines and then you do it, and then people will try to recognize you. So this is the case. So different cultures have different things in mind. So one has to understand the cultures before they start doing any kind of business activity. Let's go to the another slide. Business norms. also vary from one country to the next. Look at the examples. In France, wholesalers do not like to promote products. They are mainly interested in supplying to retailers with the products they need. In France, what is happening? In France, what is happening? The wholesalers are not selling their products, but rather they are selling it to the retailers, and it is the retailers who would be selling the products to the customers. Understand again. In France, what is happening? Wholesalers are not selling the product, but what are they doing? They are selling it to the retailers, who would be ultimately reaching out to the consumers or the customers. South Americans like to talk business nose to nose. Nose to nose. The desire for close physical proximity causes American business people to back away from the constantly forward moving South Americans. Now, nose to nose, they are talking. Yes, just a second, please. Think the South Americans, they talk in close proximity. Nose to nose, इतना close रहता है, इतनी close talks होती हैं कि sometimes the even the it's not like the nose touches each other, but sometimes the distance is very less, very less. They stand very close and talk. But North Americans, they maintain distance when they talk business. So this is how you understand others' cultures, right? In Japan, business people have mastered the tactic of silence in negotiation. Americans are not prepared for this and they panic because they think something has gone wrong. So, when they are negotiating business, Japanese silently become silent, and then they think and then they talk. Americans keep on speaking. Americans keep on speaking, and if somebody is silent, they feel that something is wrong. So, very important for business to understand the culture of other countries. Next, religious beliefs also affect shopping patterns and products purchased. Every culture has a social structure. Every culture has a social structure, but some seem less widely defined than others. That is, it is more difficult to move upward in a social structure that is rigid. Why are you people joining late? I don't understand. The two wage earner family has led to the development of a more affluent set of consumers. What is this two wage earner family? Husband and wife, दोनों लोग earn करते हैं. That is a two wage earner family. So wherever we have two wage earner families, those families are more affluent set of consumers because they buy more. Consumerism वहाँ ज़्यादा है. They buy more. And wherever we have a person who is earning, the consumerism is less, right? So this is companies must understand. The noodles, the Maggie that we eat, the same Maggie, when it is given to West Asian countries like Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain, etc., the taste maker is very different from the Maggie that we consume in India, because some of the items, some of the things which are there in the taste maker is not allowed in the West Asian countries. They are not allowed. They are strictly considered as forbiddable. फॉरबिड करते हैं कि वो चीजें आप हमारे यहाँ पर यूज नहीं कर सकते हैं. और जो सेम मैगी इंडिया में आती है, आप उसका टेस्ट मेकर देखिए, इट इज वेरी डिफरेंट. When I happened to visit in one of the West Asian countries, Saudi Arabia, the Maggie was very bland. I inquired that why the Maggie is so bland, why the taste is not like as that in India. They said different, and some of the items, some of the components are not permissible in Saudi Arabia. Therefore, the reason is that the same packaging was there, more or less the same packaging, only few things were written in Arabic, the same kind of packaging, but the taste was very different. So it is the religious beliefs which will also affect the businesses. Okay, now the next is, which I will do tomorrow. Now before I start with political environment, one last class remains जो उस दिन हमारी रह गई थी. So when can we have that last class? Can you please read? Then I will leave you, and Sunday को फिर हम that. See, political environment also affects businesses. We have seen in the pestle analysis. I'll show you again. Political factors कहाँ हैं? पहले उस पर ही हैं. Pestle P, political factors. So political factors also affect businesses. पॉलिटिकल फैक्टर्स में क्या क्या इफेक्ट करता है बिजनेस को? नंबर वन एंड foremost factor is taxation policy of the country. Taxes may be low for some businesses and high for others. Businesses are liable to various forms of taxation, such as employment taxes paid by employers and the employees. Many taxes are there. For example, in India, the major tax, indirect tax in India is GST, Goods and Services Tax. It affects businesses. तो अब बिजनेस में 12% जीएसटी है या 18% जीएसटी देना है या 28% जीएसटी देना है. डज इट अफेक्ट द बिजनेस? यस और नो? It is very important to understand the political environment of the country before you start doing any business. You must be aware of the taxation policy of the government. Next is employment laws. What to keeping employees? Labor laws of the country. Employment laws are also called as labor laws. What are the labor laws in the country? We the businesses must understand ki what are the timings for the laborers, how much the minimum wages must be paid to the laborers and all. Number three, political stability. Political stability refers to a government which is peaceful, which is constant, and which is steady. Right? It's written here in the second next line. A second point of the political stability, that businesses can only thrive in environments that provide political stability. The absence of it through a riot or hostile takeover can disrupt everyday business transaction. Wherever the government is weak, wherever there are more or less riots, wherever there are clashes, what happens? The businesses fails to thrive in that kind of an environment, and therefore they incur financial losses. Freedom of press, मीडिया को कितनी प्रेस मिली है, लॉज कितने अच्छे से फॉलो होते हैं, ब्यूरोक्रेसी कितनी जल्दी आपकी एक फाइल दूसरी टेबल पर चली जाती है, लेवल ऑफ करप्शन इन द कंट्री, एनवायरमेंट लॉज क्या है, प्रॉपर्टी प्रोटेक्शन लॉज क्या है, दे ऑल आर पार्ट ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल एनवायरमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री विच अफेक्ट्स द बिजनेसेस. सो वन एनी कंपनी must understand the political environment before doing any kind of businesses. Now my question is, जो political environment India में है, is it the same as in USA or Bangladesh or Nepal? So whenever you are making and selling your products in either of the countries, you have to understand their political environment. वहाँ कितनी फ्रीडम है आपको काम करने की, वहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टी प्रोटेक्शन लॉस कितने हैं, वहाँ पे क्या लेवल है करप्शन का. क्या अगर आप एक प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट करेंगे तो आपकी फाइल एक टेबल से दूसरी टेबल पे जल्दी पास होगी, या आपको महीनों और सालों वेट करना पड़ेगा? राइट? क्या रूल ऑफ लॉ है, क्या लोग फॉलो करते हैं रूल्स को? ठीक है.
Yes, ma'am.
यस, तो राइट, सो टैक्सेशन, employment laws, that is the labor laws of the country, the political stability in the country, they all are part of the political factors which affect businesses. Right? Now the last topic, technological factors. Look at this thing, businesses. Please read. Everybody markets and new opportunities for businesses. It is important for all businesses, whether old or new, to have state of the art technology. State of the art is the most best, the most recent technology. Companies that do not adapt soon, their products become obsolete. New technology can change the demand for a product, render current manufacturing processes obsolete, and reduce cost to undercut competitors, produce new products, and a host of other possibilities. So, whenever you have a new technology, you are able to increase your production, you are able to reduce your cost, right? You are able to increase the demand for your product. So, very important is to have new technology. Now let's look at the next slide. New technology के क्या factors है? Automation. Automation is using computers, using various technologies to make your work simpler. मैनुअल बेस्ड ऑपरेशन की जगह क्या होना चाहिए? ऑटोमेटेड ऑपरेशंस. Look at this. Automation of many unskilled tasks can allow companies to replace human production lines with entirely machine ones. This can reduce cost for manufacturers, distributors, supermarkets, and many other different businesses. So automated line से क्या होगा? You are able to reduce your labor cost. So this is the benefit of automation. Next is global internet connectivity. If you see throughout the world, there is a surge in internet connectivity. And because of this internet connectivity, you are having a better customer base today. आपने एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया और उसको आपने पहले क्या था कि आपने उसको मार्केट में ले जाके रख दिया, जो वहाँ के लोग हैं वो उसे खरीदेंगे और उसकी एक वेबसाइट डेवलप कर दी, उसको बहुत सारे ऐसे ऐप्स पे, शॉपिंग ऐप्स पे डाल दिया, अमेजोन पे डाल दिया, फ्लिपकार्ट पे डाल दिया, और भी बहुत तरह तरह के ऐप्स हैं उन पे डाल दिया, और पूरी वर्ल्ड में आपका प्रोडक्ट एक्सपोज्ड है कि ये प्रोडक्ट यहाँ इंडिया में मिलता है और ये इस अगर किसी की रिक्वायरमेंट है तो वो ले लेगा, उससे ऑनलाइन परचेज कर लेगा. सो दैट मीन्स यू हैव एक्सपोज्ड योर स्मॉल प्रोडक्ट टू द एंटायर वर्ल्ड. So your customer base has increased because of internet connectivity today. Mobile payments, digital banking services. किसी को भी आपका प्रोडक्ट पसंद आया, उसने डिजिटल पेमेंट कर दी और आपने खरीद लिया. आपको किसी कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट पसंद आया, मान लीजिए यू मस्ट हैव एनकाउंटर्ड दिस वेबसाइट मिंत्रा विच इज कीपिंग ऑल फैशन थिंग्स, फैशन एक्सेसरीज एटसेट्रा. आपको कोई चीज पसंद आई जो इंडिया में नहीं मिलती है, जो इम्पोर्टेड प्रोडक्ट्स वो रख रहे हैं, आपने क्विकली उसकी डिजिटल पेमेंट सर्विस यूज की और उसको खरीद लिया. And this is because of digital payment service plus the global internet connectivity. Even the digital payment service is relying on internet connectivity only. Okay. Artificial intelligence. It is the science of and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs that will replace humans, right? Through the AI, artificial intelligence, you have become more intelligent. You are trying to search for newer things. You are trying to search for unexplored areas. आपको बैठे बैठे ये भी पता चल जाता है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से कि आपके जो कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं वो क्या प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं, उनकी क्या सेल है, और वो क्या 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 मेथड यूज कर रहे हैं अपना प्रोडक्ट बेचने के लिए, राइट? सो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, ये सब एकदम नई टेक्नोलॉजी है विच बिजनेसेस आर यूजिंग. डिजिटल मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटेजी. एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया, वेबसाइट पे भी रखा, अमेजोन पे भी रखा, और इंस्टाग्राम पे भी है, फेसबुक पे भी है, ट्विटर पे भी बता दिया. दिस इज डिजिटल मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटेजी, right? So through the artificial intelligence, you are automating everything, right? You are saving time, you are saving money, you are adding more to your customer base. Last slide of today, stock management. You are how to keep your stocks. इतना सारा stocks है आपके गोडाउन में, उसको ऑटोमेट कर दिया आपने टेक्नोलॉजी से, एक सॉफ्टवेयर बना के कि जितना जितना बिकेगा वो उतना वहां पर रिड्यूस होता चला जाएगा. आपने देखा होगा सुपरमार्केट्स में वो उसको आप एक उसकी स्कैन करके सेल करते हैं. व्हाट डज इट मीन? कि जैसे ही वो स्कैन किया, वहां से जैसे 5 प्रोडक्ट है, 5 बॉटल ऑफ सॉसेज है, एक आपने खरीद ली, तो जैसे ही वो कस्टमर में आपने स्कैन किया, तो वहां पर अब स्टॉक कितना रह जाएगा? 4 रह जाएगा. अब मान ली उन्होंने सेट कर दिया कि जब 2 रह जाए तो वो ब्लिंक करने लगेगा, तो जो स्टॉक शीट खुलेगी तो केचप जो है, सॉस बॉटल जो है, अगर जब 2 रह जाएगी तो वो रेड से शो करेगी, तो आप इमीडिएटली उसका परचेज ऑर्डर कर लेंगे, निकाल देंगे और परचेज कर लेंगे. और ठीक है, तो इस तरह से स्टॉक मैनेजमेंट इज ऑल्सो डन थ्रू टेक्नोलॉजी. पहले क्या होता था? गिन रहे हैं, एक लेबर आया, उसका काम है कि अब कितना बचा है सामान गोडाउन में, गिन के आओ. 5 बचा है, 6 बचा है, 10 बचा है, 20 बचा है, 100 बचा है, कितना है? अब क्या है? एवरीथिंग इज ऑटोमेटेड. जैसे ही कम होगा, एक आपने बेचा, स्टॉक से उतना कम हो गया, एक लिमिट के बाद वो उसको रेड शो करने लगेगा कि और खरीदो इसको. ठीक है. Getting sensitive information through AI, broadening the customer base, is all through the technological environment. Now whenever you do business, whenever you go in other countries and do businesses, or within the country also, it is important to understand कि उस country में क्या technology का base है. whether it is having less technology, whether it is more automated and everything is very highly superb technology is being used. So this affects businesses, but it does not affect businesses, right? So stopping here for today's class. If you have doubt, please ask.